Bare metal foil, as the name implies, is metal pressed into a foil, and additionally it has an adhesive on the back. Now, I've got two examples of bare metal foil right here. I've got new improved chrome. There's gold as an available color. There are 6 or 8 different colors that the company provides. But what's really neat about bare metal foil is if you're looking for a realistic metallic finish on your car or your plane or whatever model you might have, you can use this to achieve it. For instance, you can see here that bare metal foil has been used to do the bright work on this car model. It's done the trim around the windows, the door handle, the windscreen there, or windshield, the rear window. Bare metal foil was used all over on this car. And you too can do the same sort of thing with bare metal foil on your model. We've even had contributors who have used sheets of bare metal foil to finish entire planes, just to make sure that they get that super realistic finish. It doesn't have to be scary though, so let's go ahead and take a look at how you can apply bare metal foil. First, when you're applying bare metal foil, it is probably going to be the last thing that you put onto your model. As you can see here, bare metal foil is down. What you want to do is you want to get all of your painting done. You want to get your clear coat done. You want to get all of your polishing done. Have everything on the body as clean and nice and smooth as possible. And then that's when you're going to put your bare metal foil down. Because bare metal foil does not interact well with a clear coat over the top of it. So that's why it's going to be pretty much the last thing that you're going to be putting on your car. It's sort of that last step in painting, decorating, finishing your model. Now, what is it that you need to do bare metal foil? Of course, you're going to need bare metal foil in the color that you prefer or that you want to use on your model. Next, you're obviously going to need your model. I know this isn't painted, it's not polished, it's not all the things. Yes, this is for a tutorial. It isn't the actual model, so, bear with me. Next, you're going to have a knife. You're going to want a knife with a brand new blade on it because you want your blade as sharp as possible for cutting bare metal foil. The foil is going to dull your knife blade very quickly, so you're going to want to have spare blades on hand so you can swap out the blade in your knife. As soon as you get a sense that the knife blade is tearing the foil instead of cutting the foil, it's time to swap out. Then you're also going to need either some tightly wound cotton swabs or 100% cotton cloth, an old t-shirt would work. And then of course, some toothpicks. And a straight edge is a good idea too. Now, the processes that we're going to be using here were taught to us by award-winning modeler Tim Boyd, who happens to also be an avid FSM contributor. To start with, for an area like this, around a large opening, perhaps the back window, or even around the windshield of, say, a car, you start by cutting out a piece of bare metal foil that will go over that entire area. I've measured this area here for the back window, and it's about 55 millimeters by 25 millimeters. So that's what I'm going to do is first cut out the foil. Now, be careful when handling the foil because you can mar it. So dragging a ruler across it or something like that can damage the foil. So just be careful while you're working with it. Remember, you want a sharp blade for this. Next, we pull up the foil and we place it loosely over this opening. If you need to reposition the foil, if you're not happy with where it's at, you can go ahead and gently pull it up and then reposition and push it back down. And I think we're doing pretty good where it's at right now. Next, what we're going to do is take a cotton swab, or you can also take a soft cotton cloth wrapped around the end of your finger, and then you're just going to rub the bare metal foil down around the edge of this window here and burnish that so that it's nice and smooth. Nice and gently burnish this down. Once you're happy with how the burnishing appears on your model, the next step is to take a new knife blade and remove this central portion of the foil. Get as close to the edge of the opening as you're comfortable, but still leaving enough to fold over the interior because you don't want any bare spots. You can see the reason that you want to use a new knife blade is because you want it to cut and not to tear. If you sense, and you'll be able to tell, if you sense that the blade is going to tear the bare metal foil, stop and replace the blade. Now, what's nice about this is that you can reuse this. So, take a moment, come back to your sheet, put this back on it. Waste not, want not.
It's here. FineScale Modeler's new special issue, Paint Award-winning figures. You can find it at your local hobby store, bookstore, or newsstand, or you can order it directly from us at the link in the description. Inside, you're going to find 100 pages of figure modeling goodness from the likes of Joe Hudson, Matt Mrozik, Anya Shetnina. There are 11 how-to stories packed with great insights about how to paint, attach parts, everything you need to build better figure models. Get your copy today. Do you like what you see here and want more? Subscribe to FineScale Modeler magazine. You'll get 6 issues a year crammed with how-to stories from some of the best modelers around the world. Go to finescale.com/YouTube for a special offer for YouTube viewers like you.
Next up, let's cut 4 diagonal slits around the opening, and then turn the body over and wrap this foil up underneath. Just like that. Next, what we're going to do is finish burnishing this down, just because we want to make sure that it is as smooth as we can get it. And you might even use a toothpick just to make sure you get in to those tightest of tight little spots, like right there. You want to be extremely careful when using the toothpick because you do not want to tear the foil. So light touch multiple times. That's better than just one heavy stroke. Then what you're going to do is take a fresh number 11 blade and you're going to cut around the edge of where that trim would be. So in this case, just this outer edge around this rear window. We've gone ahead and cut around that trim. Now it's peeling that off and seeing what we're left with. Hopefully it looks right. So that's how you can do large openings like this rear window or your windshield opening. You can also use the same sort of technique to actually put bare metal foil over badging or over your door handles and locks and those sorts of things. So using a similar technique, cut a swatch of bare metal foil and then place it over your door handle. And you might have to adjust it a little bit here just so that you're centered a little bit better than what I am right now. Come on, Tim. And for those of you who are bare metal foil experts, I apologize as I'm causing you all sorts of discomfort and pain as you watch me do this. But now again, we want to be careful not to tear the bare metal foil. Now, in a complex shape like this, there's going to be these contours where there's not going to be a lot that you can do about having to cut the bare metal foil. Okay, so again, much like, remember, we cut those corners, you may have to actually, in order to fit the foil down around these complex areas, you may have to give yourself a little bit of leeway by cutting the foil at tight junctures, just so that it's going to sit down nice and tight against the model. I'm pretty happy with how that looks right now. It's down pretty tight all around. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come back in with a sharp knife blade, and then I'm going to cut that area out. Now, inevitably, there's going to be these small spots where maybe you didn't quite fold it completely, and it's, you've left a bare spot where there should be some bare metal foil. Those are touch-ups, just like you do any other time when you're finishing. You just come back and you touch those up with some paint. And especially if you're doing chrome, what really works well is a Molotow liquid chrome pen. So if you find those spots where it's just not quite covering all the area that you want it to cover, or you made a mistake, some of us do that, just come in and go ahead and touch those spots up. And then with those basic skills, you can do quite a bit of bare metal foil on trim, even on an airplane. What's nice about that is that you got larger swaths to deal with rather than these complex shapes. A lot of the time what you're dealing with is, well, lesser curves, the flat expanse of wings, right? So don't be afraid to give bare metal foil a try. And just like with anything, remember, right out of the gate, it's probably not going to be perfect. Practice. Just like you do with your airbrush, just like you do with your brush painting, just like you do with doing clean builds. It's all about just practice the skill and you will definitely get better. I'm Tim Kidwell. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.